Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Tuesday night with the Golfing Dads. We are joined tonight by our friends at Elite Fleet Jets. Welcome. How's everybody
Thank
doing
you.
tonight?
Thank you very much.
Not too bad.
All right.
I do, Greg. I will say, I wish we were doing this interview at like 40,000 feet in a jet. It would
I
have been
do
way
too.
more fun.
Right?
But
That would be a lot of fun. But we're not there yet. Maybe someday.
someday, yes.
Next one.
For those of you, so next week. No,
Yeah.
Dave, you're missing out. Enjoy your cruise.
I'm on a boat.
For those of our fans or viewers who might not know, can you give us maybe a 30-second pitch on what Elite Fleet Jet exactly is?
Yeah, absolutely. So at our core, we're a private aviation company that functions between inclusivity and exclusivity. So we have three pillars: access, movement, and impact. And so, as you know, private aviation can be very, private and sort of closed off. Right. There's not a whole lot of information out there unless you really, dig deep and try to find it. So ultimately, we service private charter flights. And then we also have a component of a philanthropic side that tries to have as much impact as we can into elite sport. And so our starting point's been golf and trying to have an impact and a presence in communities that are don't have as much access, right, as the rest of us. So that's a little bit about what we do. I'm sure we'll get a little bit deeper here shortly.
Okay, nice.
Now, Cole, I know a little bit about you. We've got a friend in common, and you haven't always been in this private jet space. And used to be a caddy at a pretty cool resort, but
Yeah.
Can you talk about how your background caddying led you into the private jet space?
Absolutely. So I caddied at the Kiowa Island Club for 4 years. I actually went between Kiowa Island Club and the Ocean Course on Kiowa. And I originally moved out to South Carolina I grew up in my hometown of St. Joseph, Missouri, and wanted to get out, see something new, right? See what was out there. And I actually applied to Pebble first, and then I applied to Kiowa. Kiowa called back first. I packed my stuff in 4 days and moved. So actually, I slept in my car for the first 4 days of living in South Carolina because I didn't have an apartment yet. And then I called him on the way, and I think I'm passing through somewhere. I think it might have been Nashville. And I called the caddy master, and I was like, hey, I know that I see basically the interview here, and it says, hey, pending employment upon completion of the interview. And I'm like, hey, how hard is this interview? I'm like, well, you're going to have to go through some things on the golf course to see if, you kind of know what you're doing. And I'm like, great, I'm halfway there. So showed up and went to go view the club and came back the next day for caddy training. And then the rest was history. And I thankfully got the job and found an apartment and just fell in love with it. And it was mainly about the connection with people that I could get for 4.5 hours, right? I was fresh out of college, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And then I got to meet several people that did a lot of different things, right? Coming from all different walks of life. Anything from people who were successful selling dog CBD. That's always one of the ones that I think about.
Dog CBD?
Dog CBD. And I'm like, man, I'm looking at the house and they're all $1 million homes. And I'm like, I don't know how mathematics, but it's somehow. So, just so many different people, different walks of life. So it was truly a great moment to figure out what exactly is I wanted to do and how I could potentially get to that level someday. So most of the people that were there are high net worth individuals. I actually had no intentions of doing anything in the jet space. And so one day I had a couple members sit me down and they said, hey, Cole, I think you should really get into sales. And, you're good at talking to people and having the relationships that we've had, and I think you should get into sales. So I quit, and then I went to go sell solar, and I sold solar for commission only for about 5 months. And I remember having to come back and caddy a couple times because I didn't have any sales the first 2 months, so I had to do something, and and that just, commission only job that'll make a dog out of you, as they say. And so I had a buddy that was in private aviation, and I figured that sounded a hell of a lot cooler than knocking doors at 5, 6 p.m. Right? It's private jets, like we wouldn't love that. So I got into it, got a good job at a decent place, and here we are. So fast forward a few more years, and we're on the Golfing Dads Podcast.
When were you a caddy at Kiowa?
I was there from 2019 to about 2024, and I did some, one-offs, some like pro-am stuff like that. Came back for some of those events because those are just a ton of fun. It was like, yeah.
Did you know a caddy there named Brian Patrizzi?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I did know Brian.
So
Yeah.
Dave and I worked for his mom.
Yeah. In Hilton Head.
That's crazy.
So
Anytime I ask him if he knows somebody, he's like, "Yep, I know that person." Every
I
time.
figured you would.
Yeah.
That's why I asked that name.
Yeah.
So I know Brian very well. I worked with
Yeah,
mom.
great kid.
And I know his sister very well as well out in Colorado. So I was like, oh, that timing is he was there during that time. So.
Yeah. But Cole, I'm probably the only one here that knows where St. Joseph, Missouri is because I drive right past it every time I'm going to Kansas City. Because I'm in southeast Iowa, so that is just a little ways north of Kansas City, and we drive right past it every time we go there.
Yeah. Yep. That's amazing.
So how did this idea for Elite Fleet first come about for everybody here?
Yeah, so honestly, it came out of the pain point of being on the customer receiving side. So my husband is the CEO and founder of Elite Fleet, William Deckard. So we have 3 girls, all under the age of 5, and we had planned a big international trip. And it was getting down to the wire. We were about 4 weeks out from takeoff, and just you expect a certain level of service, especially with this type of industry, and it just wasn't there, to be quite honest. And so with a lot of faith, we pulled out and we did a complete redirection, and I'm glad that it worked out. We were able to go to Japan and also Paris, to Disney, of course, for our birthday months. And yeah, so it all worked out. But out of that, made us really think that there's got to be a better way, especially more from a relationship side rather than just a transactional side.
Well, we've been in the customer service industry all of our lives with Disney, and I'm still in the customer service industry, and so is my wife. So we know everything you go through in customer service, and I'm the same way. You get somewhere and you're like, this could be better. So what were some of the challenges or biggest challenges that you saw when trying to start up in the jet space?
So for us, again, wanting to come at it from a different angle and different perspective, is really being intentional about who we do business with and who we partner with and how we show up as a brand. And so, of course, the temptation is always wanting to say yes to any opportunity that comes our way, but really keeping in the back of our mind, does this make sense? And is it aligned with our values? And so keeping that discipline while also trying to grow is difficult, but I feel like it's gotten us where we're at right now.
Well, we appreciate that you aligned with ours then. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I get it. Sometimes, starting out, it's very easy to say yes to everybody. But, being able to philosophically draw that line in the sand, I feel for any business is a big step.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you guys launched about a year ago. Next month, August, will be 1 year. Looking back over the last 12 months, how has your business evolved from day one to here we are today?
completely different. We did not think that we would be having these types of conversations or opportunities, especially in the golf space. I think in the forefront, those don't really mix. But if you actually sit back and think about it, there's a lot of alignment there. So where we really started with the vision of making it better and a lot of hustle, right? It's really grown in the depth of the relationships that we've made.
So you speak of, the golf space, and Elite Fleet has become very involved in golf. And how important has that growth within the golf industry helped you as a company?
Yeah, so it's funny. I was just watching something else about this today, but Augusta National had 3 times as many private aircraft than the Super Bowl did the same year, last year, of course. So we were looking at this from an outside lens, and we kind of already knew that, golf was going to be a direction we were going to go. We just didn't, we had to put the math behind it, right? And then understand how much interest was truly in the game. And I think that as we were looking at that, it's kind of a crazy story, but the way that the Malbon partnership played a huge role into that to begin with, it's been amazing, and we're getting conversations and different people from different areas, and there's a lot of movement right now. It's like you guys all know within the game that's trying to have more inclusion around the sport, and you'll see it with a lot of different brands. See it with a lot of different clothing brands. As if you look back to Augusta National the past 5 years, it could be even less than that. There's the increase year over year for what's been going on at Augusta. It's the private jet capital of the world in golf. There's not another event that pulls that many planes in and those types of customers, and there's just so much interest in it. And I think Augusta's done an incredible job of creating that sort of atmosphere too. So
why do you think that golf and private aviation just seem to fit so well together?
So I think it comes down to the way that you approach it. So in preparation, in the precision, and the investment of the time, and again, preparation for getting it right. That's how we approach any customer, any request, any flight on our end too. We have that same mindset. So it's really about protecting someone's time, energy, and keeping them really focused on what's important.
Nice.
So when somebody thinks of private aviation and they think about flying in a private plane, they think celebrities, billionaires. I know in the golf space, we think Rory going up on day trips to Augusta from South Florida as he did this year. Is that a misconception, or is it, what's kind of the feel on that?
I think it's a huge misconception. Anybody that we service or has come to us, they similar to my Caddie experience, all different walks of life. You don't know when you're sitting across from somebody, it's the person that's got maybe some baggy jeans on, maybe some holes in their shirts that you'd never guess, we're probably heading to the FBO later that day and getting on a plane. And I think that there is a lot of, social media attention around some of the celebrities and the showcasing of the influencer, quote unquote, getting on a private jet and doing these things. But truly it's anybody at the end of the day with the means to fly private. It's slightly frustrated commercial travelers like yourself, Steve, going to Houston here coming up, with the means to fly private and understand the time value behind it. So as far as the persona and the people themselves and the personalities and what they're doing, they come from everywhere. It's pretty amazing.
So, we talk the celebrity space and we look at that, but at what point does flying private make financial sense?
Dave, that's an amazing question. You know,
His wife's in finance. That's why.
Okay, so here's the thing.
I've got to get an answer for that.
Yeah, my wife's in finance. You know, she's a financial advisor for Edward Jones, and you know, like you're right. There's people that show up in, you know, holes in their jeans and their t-shirts, and it's not like a designer piece of clothing. You know, that's a guy that owns $100 million combine, you know, that was out there working in the field, and they can show up and you know, do these things, but it's not the everyday people that you think about flying private. But so at what point does that make a fiscal sense for the not everyday person, but everyday person?
Yeah, so it's actually a question that's talked about a lot. You know, to an accountant, it's never going to make sense. Really, it comes down to
Heard that.
it's all yes, yes, Laken does. But that's the truth of the matter. It's always I have a lot of conversations with different customers, people that are interested to go, man, Cole, I don't know, I don't want to spend $25,000 on this trip to go just there and back, right? And the question I always come back with is, well, what is your time worth? And that's a question every single person right here is going to have a different answer for. And so that truly becomes the value. And I think that it's really hard to quantify that. So from a financial modeling standpoint, nobody's going to say yes to that. But, you know, from a time value perspective and the time you can save with your families, the time, I mean, you know, being home more often, or, you know, maybe you've got to go do some stuff on the East Coast. You can still get back, you know, a decent hour on the other side, right? And save that. They're literal time machines. So that's at its core where the value comes from.
You know those reels on social that's like, oh, nobody told you how to go from this back to this, right? From vacation back to home. It's pretty much like that. Going from private back to commercial.
Yeah, so when you get to, I always said when I went on, Dave's going on a Disney cruise next week, when I first got a balcony and a stateroom outside, I was like, yep, I'm not going back from this. Not changing. So speaking of that, what's some of the biggest misconceptions that people have about private aviation that you try to change their minds about?
That it's just completely untouchable, not in the cards for them, not an opportunity, not something that they could ever work themselves toward or even cross over that line of it being a possibility, right? And so that's where we are helping to focus more on private aviation, really making access available versus it just being the means to get from point A to point B, because we're more focused on what we're building and what we're trying to showcase beyond the journey itself.
Is Steve on mute? He jinxed us, and he said that Dave was going to have the technical difficulty. There it is, folks. Got it from Steve.
Yeah, no, I was, yeah. You know, Cole, you talked about the idea of saving time. How much time can someone realistically save in flying private versus commercial travel?
Yeah, I think that's a more quantifiable number. I mean, you can think about it. Let's just talk about a day trip, right? So for those who don't know how the experience works, just in the simplest form, you show up to an FBO. Well, first you got to book your trip. Then you show up to the FBO. You meet the crew, pilots. You know, they check to make sure you are who you say you are, and you board the plane. They take your luggage. They take care of it. You're on board in 10 minutes. So from there, it's it's taking off to party and getting to your destination. So you save the time of getting to the airport, the time of making sure that you're there ahead of time to go through security, go through all that, and possibly wait in line at like 5 a.m. for some of those red eyes. And so there's a lot of time just from that end. I mean, you could talk about and then getting your checked bags, right? So it could be at some points for a day trip, 4 hours of time, right? And you think about that several times over a year, depending on how much you're traveling, it can be pretty significant. And so that's really where it's justifiable and where you can really see some difference in being home, right? Families, and whether it's business, personal, you name it, you're going to be saving time in all those areas. And especially with, being on board and having access to Wi-Fi, being able to still work, kind of being in your own space, I think that has a lot to do with how you function, right? Being in the middle row of a commercial plane, it's not always the most comfortable thing. And, you're probably distracted by a few things. Maybe someone's taking that elbow from the armrest from you. So,
I was on a flight, I think, a couple weeks ago, and I don't normally get aisle seat, but that's all that was left. I was just taking a quick trip by myself. So it honestly reminds me of when you are in the hospital and they come in to check your vitals every 30 minutes. And it's like, man, can we just chill? I just want a quiet moment.
See, I love the aisle seat. I need the leg.
Yeah.
I'm 6'5". I need all the leg room. That might be why I need this, is just for the leg room. Alone. So how easy is it to book a trip with you guys?
Super simple. So in the simplest form, you can submit an inquiry on the website. That's going to send our ops and our sales team a notification immediately. They're going to get back to you. You're going to get an email confirmation that your request got submitted, and then we're going to get back to you within minutes. Of trying to understand a little bit more about your travel needs, right? I want to know how much luggage you're taking, probably some, maybe just confirming that all the details that you submitted were correct, just in case of any typos, right? It would be really bad to have the same airport or the wrong airport per se. But,
I'm outside, you guys.
Where's my Uber? I'm staying.
Exactly. So, confirming all those details in a matter of minutes. From there, we're actively sourcing available options for your trip based off nautical mile distance, weights of the passengers approximately, luggage, what's going to make the most sense for the mission that you have, right? And so then we'll send you, I'll say low, medium, and high, right? Most economical, somewhere in the middle. And if you really want to kind of take it a step further, those are the 3 options you're going to get. So from there, you book the trip, you get a payment link, it comes in and out, and you're secured. That the fastest, this is really the fastest trip I think we've done has been a wheels up time in about an hour and 10 minutes from booking. So
wow.
It's been really fast.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
So Cole, when you say booking, and now you're a Midwest guy. I'm here. The closest airport to me, large airport, is Cedar Rapids. Is there a difference for you guys flying into like a municipal, a mid-sized airport, or like a major airport like O'Hare, Atlanta, MCO?
Massive.
Is there a
massive difference? So a lot of those high density airports that Delta, United, any of the airlines are going to go into, they're going to have a lot more traffic in there. Right. So a lot of that has to do with air traffic control and managing the flow of the planes going in and out of that airspace. So when you go to a regional airport where there's less of that, then you're going to save a ton of time. And that time between, boarding the aircraft, right, pilots going through all the checks, taxiing out, right, to the runway, and then your wheels up, right? So a lot of that time can be saved if you're going to those regional airports, and you're also not dealing with all the hassle of being around those high congested spaces. So there's a huge difference, and it's actually more efficient and cost effective to go to those airports.
So there's one, our vineyard is called Airport Road. There's one right next door to us that I could probably hit with a 7-iron. So I'm good then.
Yeah, you're in a
Dave,
great
go book
spot.
one right now. See if you can break the record of like an hour, and
Yeah.
by the end of the show, you can be on a jet. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Let's make this happen.
If someone's considering flying private for the first time, what's one piece of advice you'd give them?
Be prepared to only want to go that way from the foreseeable future, because
So true.
once you do it once, to Laken's point, it is so hard to go back, and that is my biggest promise to you.
So
So
can I ask a question? If, like, let's say the three of us were planning a golf trip, we're in three different areas. Do you guys do anything where it's like, we'll pick up this person first, then we'll fly to this place? Like, do you do anything like that, or is it just one destination to A to B?
Yeah, so those would be in our world called multi-legs. So
Okay.
multi-leg trips, a lot of times actually we'll have somebody who's, hey, they're in New York, they got to go pick up their buddy in Augusta because he just left the grounds of the Masters, and now they're gonna go over to Big Cedar in Missouri and go play, right? And it's very common. So the execution on that's extremely important to make sure that all the details are correct and everything goes off seamlessly.
Yeah, you're right. This is the only way I'm going to want to book from now on.
So it's just like you get to your hotel experience, and you've been upgraded to concierge at, say, we'll call it the Four Seasons, and you just can't go back to the Holiday Inn Express after that.
Precisely.
Great analogy. Pretty much.
Right. Because
I'll tell you, from someone who's worked in hotels, you upgrade people to do that on purpose sometimes.
Exactly.
Yes. So let's switch gears here for a second, and let's talk about the Caddie It Forward program and its mission with you guys.
Yes. So this is our sort of investment initiative where we think that the strongest network of people are most likely the ones that are behind the scenes that you don't always see in the forefront, but they're just as important to the space of making the day, the event, the execution go off without a hitch, right? So we want to, thinking about caddies, and Cole's story is sort of how this all came about and how it's grown into what it's become. So we wanted to do the same thing, right? Of caddies are more than just carrying the bag. They mentor, they're looking 3 steps ahead, right? And they're invested in somebody else's success. And so circling that back to us wanting to be more of a relationship-based company than just a transactional-based, we want to do more than just book flights and get you to from point A to point B, and we want to build something bigger than ourselves, and make an impact, right, on not only clients but anybody who has alignment, who wants to do business with us, partner with us. We think it's very important.
Hey, I've got a quick question from Instagram tonight, and Sandy, thank you for watching and asking. Can you bring your beloved animals on board?
Cole,
you're on
muted.
mute.
Oh, now Cole's on mute.
Cole's muted.
The answer to that is yes. And your dogs, your cats, they're considered family in our world. So we welcome that. And, to be honest, that's a lot of the requests that we get, and people wanting to, they don't want to fly their dog or their cat on an airline. I've actually never gone through that myself or had to do that. So yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Awesome. So you guys are involved with someone that we know, great friend of the show, and Kim with the First Tee of Jersey Shore, not the Jersey Shore TV show, just the First Tee of Jersey Shore.
So I'm sure she would rock that show.
She probably,
yes.
you are not wrong there. She would definitely rock that. You guys are partnering with them for their 20th anniversary First Tee Classic event in Jersey, and you're debuting your new caddy bibs. Can you talk about the event and what you guys are doing to partner with that?
Absolutely. And Kim, if she's watching this, you're a rock star. So, yeah, she's an amazing human. So yeah, we are sponsoring the Caddie Bibs. It kind of plays into part with the Caddie It Forward initiative and the program behind that. We also, in quite honestly, how it started was actually our golf towels. The towels, so we're sponsoring the towels and the bibs and supporting the volunteer apparel. So volunteers are going to have shirts with First Tee, Elite Fleet, and Malbon on the shirt. So it's a cool way to kind of bring everybody together and just show how we're supportive. So we're extremely happy to be there and grateful for sure.
I do want to point out, I saw a picture that had your towels in them, and they looked a lot like Janie King towels from the PGA Tour, and I thought I would like one of those on my back.
Yeah, you got it.
Anybody that's ever
Absolutely.
used the Janie King towel knows about the Janie King towel.
That's right. It goes way back. I think Janie King was in 2002. Yeah, it's been a long time.
So, we're doing all these partnerships, and towels and caddy bibs always look awesome in the background here. But as a business, why is it important to give back to the communities that are not only supporting you, but you supporting them?
Yeah, so the community is the whole reason why our business exists, right? Without consumers, we wouldn't have one. And in this space, especially with Kim and the Jersey Shore First Tee, it's the network of individuals that really welcomed us. And we had a great experience with them last month. And we're really looking forward to carrying that into the 20th annual classic for them and showing up in any way that we can support, no matter how small. It's a privilege to be there.
Hey,
So-
Cole, when we get done, also, Cole, I'm going to put you in a email chain with our CEO of the First Tee of Central Florida, because they have a huge event coming up at Lake Nona in the fall. So I will put you in touch with them as well.
Amazing. I think
Awesome.
to add to that too, just to what Laken said, some of the importance too comes from it's entirely on the impact that we can have in any sort of way. And I think that the towel's an interesting asset that we have. The towel goes with the caddies everywhere they go, right? As many 20,000 steps in a day as they're carrying the bag on tour, right? The towel sees a lot of things. And I think the really cool part about it is the story and how the towel goes from point A to point B, right? So, we distribute towels at Seawayn Golf Club, right, for the Buckets Cup event, right? So those kids, by the way, it was an incredible event. It felt like I would put it in comparison with the Corn Ferry event without the grandstands, but and that was incredible. And if I was 10 years old at the time playing golf, right, at that event, I'm going to be, I might top the first tee shot, but I would, I'd be very, very just, pinching myself over being at those events, because as you know, that's kind of, it's pretty uncommon to have major tournaments. I know Pinehurst has the World Championships coming up, right? The Junior Worlds, right? The Optimist is been around for a long time with Tiger and Phil back in the day, participating in that. But to show them that experience, they're going to go home, right? They're going to put that towel on their bag at home, and they're going to think about that day that they were at Seawayn, right? And what that meant to them and how many cool opportunities they could have in the game of golf and the access behind it, right? And that's going to fuel them to, hopefully fuel them to, want to do something great, right? And eventually give back to that and how they got to wherever they are. So yeah, super important.
So that's fantastic, and that's what we love about this golf industry, and we love the impact that we can have, that you're having. So how do you all look at this as Caddie It Forward, the overall vision of that fitting into the overall vision of Elite Fleet, and bring all of this together and helping the communities and being a private jet company. How does all of this fit together?
Yeah, so where I feel we as an aviation company move people right from one location to another, we're wanting to sort of mirror that in another perspective of doing the same, but for people or communities or access. So us creating an experience that creates access for youth, as Cole was saying, and into an event that's typically not seen, right? And that's not typical. So that's where we want to come in, sort of being different and in the white space, and aligning both of us of private aviation. It's touchable. We want it to feel tangible, that it's for everybody. And if you don't necessarily have the means to get there yet, doesn't mean that you can't be involved with us somehow, because we are here to make movement and access happen for everyone.
That's fantastic.
So let's look 5 years from now. What's your goal for the program over the next 5 years?
I would personally really like to see it grow to be huge in the golf space, that it's a big movement, even bigger than us, right? I think we're the starting point, but I really want to see it grow outside of us. More brands, more individuals, organizations that are aligned and want to support the initiative, that we see how we can align it and make it grow bigger, right? And so for us personally, we're wanting to grow our relationship with the First Tee, doing more events, creating more access experiences, and in the long term, as I was saying, growing potential partnerships, brand activations for our existing partners, new partners, and just seeing how far it can go.
I mean, that's a perfect segue into what I'm going to ask next. Is you've done a lot of work with Malbon and this past week's winner on the PGA Tour, Jackson Koivin. So this is great that you're creating all of these relationships and networks. That's what we're all about here. So how did this that relationship begin?
So Willie Wilcox and I used to caddy together at the Ocean Course.
Oh, nice.
So Willie's he's an amazing human. He's played a pretty integral part in actually most of the connections that happen, right? So where does it all start? But yeah, so Willie and I were talking, and we're like, let's try to get something, some exposure, right? Somehow, like, we were thinking about different marketing tactics, and it wasn't really actually too deep in thought. But I was like, we could probably, get a towel deal, right, done with Willie, and see what happens. Kind of. I mean, it was more of a shot in the dark, honestly. And I have a good friend, Steve Wheatcroft. You guys may have heard of him. He'd been on tour for a long time. Yeah. And he told me a little bit about how some of the deals worked, and I knew nothing about it. So I leaned on Steve a little bit to give me some insight on how those things get done, and what's the way to go about it. So kudos to him. And then fast forward, Willie was sponsored. We started sponsoring him before the Masters. It's so funny, actually, now that this is all coming back to me. So Willie had gotten a house for the Masters, and we had just seen another. I was coming to the Malbon home that week, right? I heard about it. Willie's like, "Hey, you should come." I'm like, "Hey, it's only 3 hours from Charleston, right? 3.25 or something." I was like, "I'm gonna go up there and check out the Malbon home." Right? It seemed pretty cool. It's open to anybody, right? It really speaks into the inclusivity portion of what we're doing. And so we went up there, and it was kind of a massive party. And they had some, you could buy merchandise in there and do some different things, but it was really, really cool. And so that was driving. I think it was 11:30 at night. I had seen a video drop with Malbon and another jet company. And my heart kind of sank. And I was like, man, I just got the wind kicked out of me, right? I'm kind of coming up here to talk to them about making some sort of deal. And now I see this video drop. I'm like beat red in the face. I'm like, gosh, I'm so I'm like upset, you know. And Willie had gotten a place. I stayed with him at the house, and he was like, "Yeah." And Willie's super relaxed. He's a really good time. But he's like, "Hey, I'll be at the home like after the practice round today," and so we go to the home. I go to the home with another team member of ours, and we go check it out. Willie gets there later, and he tells me about a dinner. So the dinner's at like 5, and it's an exclusive dinner, and it's got a bunch of folks attending. And he's like, "Hey, you're gonna be my +1," and I was like, "Yeah, sounds great. I'd love to be." And so they shut down at 2, came back for the dinner, and I went up to a random person that I didn't know anybody who was working at Malbon except for Steven. And it just so happened to be the guy that was handling the partnerships. And I was like, "Hey," and he was in all Malbon stuff, right? So that was like probable for me to I think this person might work for Malbon. And I was like, "Hey, how do we is there somebody I can talk to about a partnership?" It was like, "You're looking at him." And then I go, "Hey, I saw this jet video drop last night. I was like, is there any way that we could kind of do something similar?" And, he's like, absolutely. And it just worked out so well, and went to the dinner. The dinner was really, really cool. Had a lot of good people there. So that's kind of how it worked.
That's the great thing about this industry is everyone's just so friendly, and you never know who you're going to run into.
Yeah. Hey, Cole, I was at Augusta on Tuesday this year, and Luke Hopkins, Aldridge Potgater's caddy, was standing right behind me. Yeah. And literally it turned into him coming on our podcast 2 weeks later. Literally, that's how that worked.
That's crazy. And he's one of our caddies.
Yeah, Luke's great. He's such a good dude. So
yeah, he's amazing.
So how do you guys see golf brands evolving beyond like apparel and your logos on towels and into full-blown experiences?
Yeah, so I think it's a lot like this, right? And what we were just saying with Malbon Home, it's being unconventional, completely open, inclusivity, and bringing culture and sort of a younger generation into the picture, and seeing where they can make it more about community now.
So you're also partnering with ACE members only for a cool event coming up. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so to give a little bit of context to anyone who might not know, so ACE Members Only is a community built by Dwayne Wade and Darrell Wright. And they discovered the life lessons of golf, and they had set out to give that back to underrepresented youth and community. So their mission directly aligns with a lot that we've been talking about and that we wanted to see propel forward. So that opportunity really, it made complete sense, right? And so really creating experiences and more of an impact for anybody, Malbon, whether that's ACE, anyone who we could do that with. And we're sort of really, really lucky and really, really excited to get to collaborate on some selective and exclusive events that they've got going on later this year.
That's fantastic.
Speaking of events, one of their events, because I went there, they've got a cool event coming up West Coast at some place on the Monterey Peninsula that all of us know about. What attracted you guys? Obviously, there's the idea of being around the NBA players and what the benefits are, but in that community, whether it's Malbon, whether it's ACE members only, whether it's any of these events that are going on, is there a way that you guys look at this and say, this is what we want? Like we just, or is it like we've got a bullseye and we're just throwing darts at it? How does that come about?
I think it really, it's been so organic. And I think that's really where we've been super lucky, is that who we've been around and who we've been exposed to, and some of the connections that we've made. It's right. You're kind of attracted to like-minded people that do the similar things, and maybe that's some explanation on how it's kind of unfolded. But really, it's been an extremely easy decision with those two partnerships because of everything that they are about and what they do. Malbon's, I would call him a trailblazer in the golf space, right? Doing things differently. I mean, we've all seen Jason Day's outfits at Augusta, right? So there's just those two specifically have been, we've been incredibly grateful for, super lucky. And I think, we've got a lot to go out there and make happen with those two. So.
And what I think is interesting too is we're so aligned in our goals and what we're wanting to do that, but yet it doesn't duplicate, right? That we're all unique in the way of the storytelling and the specific ways that we're wanting to put forth in that impact, and why it feels super adjacent, but it's not overlapping, if that makes sense. So I think it helps again say yes. It's just like a no-brainer.
Yeah, we love what you're doing for everybody out there. This is cool.
This is amazing. The idea of even tying caddies in and kind of overlook people in the golf industry too, and working it that way is amazing to bring attention there. As we wrap, if there's somebody's looking right now, Dave wants to fly to the airport next to the winery. Where can they find you and how do they book their next flight?
Straight to our website, right? Or our social, right? Go to our Instagram, go to our website, anything with Elite Fleet on it, you can reach us, LinkedIn. So, we'll make something work. Yeah.
EliteFleet.co. Instagram handle is EliteFleetJets.
That's awesome.
Oh, don't think I won't be looking at
it. We know, Dave.
Don't threaten Dave with a good time.
Guys, thank you for joining us tonight.
Yes, and so
we really appreciate the time tonight. And like I said at the beginning, hopefully this next interview we do will be at 40,000 feet. We'd love to have that opportunity. Let's do it. So thank you guys. Y'all have a great evening.
You too. Thank you so much.
Cheers, y'all.
I mean, that's the big thing here, that forget about the flying jets and flying private. That's big about this. But what they put back into the community is even bigger. So if you're looking for it to support a company and an airline that is out there helping the community, helping golfers, helping kids, this is a great company. So make sure if you're booking your next travel, check out Elite Fleet, because, I mean, they're right. Once you go private, you're never going to want to go back. So
yeah.
You know what flies as far as a private jet does?
My golf ball's into the woods.
Bridgestone mindset.
The Bridgestone mindset and their Tour B technology. Dial in your game with Bridgestone Tour B featuring mindset. The visual cues help you focus, commit, and roll it pure. Same tour level performance now with a smarter way to lock in. Find your fit and play the Tour B today.
I do have to say, as you know, here in the Midwest, we it's easier to find my ball playing Bridgestone, and I'm slowly starting to convert people at the club to playing the Bridgestone rather than some other golf brands that are out there.
Oh, that's been the thing now, is everyone's asking, like, what ball are you using? How is that? And the mindset and the Velo Surge technology, everything with the Bridgestone ball is the way to go.
Yeah.
All right. So
let's go the big news first. Which big news?
Well,
the news that we knew was coming, that got announced, that's going to be announced tomorrow, that everybody
the last live event's going to be in Indianapolis of all time. As of right now, who knows what next week's going to happen? Steve, you're on mute again, so that's fantastic.
I'm fixed.
The news that was announced today, hasn't been officially announced. It's all hearsay right now, but it seems like the announcement's going to come tomorrow that the Michigan team event for Live, it's done, and they don't have an excuse of the World Cup and the heat this time.
Yeah.
They do have the excuse that they canceled hotels and airline tickets for their contract.
They have the excuse of funding. Like that's really
There's
where all
that
it comes to. Because the other big thing that was announced is Louisiana is still waiting for the money they were promised from LIV. So LIV is in a horrible state right now that I really want to talk about.
And there's lawsuits that I feel like every week there's a new lawsuit that pops up. Yeah.
And it's not just the lawsuits from people right now. There's gonna be people like John Rahm's got a team of lawyers.
It's going to implode on itself.
There's going to be breach of contract stuff coming up left and right. But
correct. Well, there already is breach of contract with the tech company.
Yeah, but with players.
Yeah. That's going to, I think, be the biggest thing. Steve, you and I were talking about this today, and I brought up, I said, I think that they're canceling Michigan to try to say, hey, players, I think they're using what money they have left to try and keep them on so that they can tell investors that we're keeping these people on. But I don't think that's going to work.
No. Okay. Experience highly addictive accuracy with Cobra's line of Optum drivers designed with optimized MOI and POI. Optum drivers deliver incredible stability, unmatched accuracy off the tee. Upgrade your game by purchasing an Optum driver today. Learn more at cobragolf.com. I got a text message yesterday about a Cobra driver from someone that we know, the one and only Seth Northern, who just picked up a Cobra driver with the DS Adapt technology, with the Future Fit 33 technology, and went to the range and was pounding it. And yes, you too can get that same technology upgrade. So
if you are overlooking Cobra as a golf brand and just following everybody else, you're missing out. You're missing out on yardage. You're missing out on accuracy. It is the biggest, as Steve likes to say, biggest cheat code in golf.
It is the biggest cheat code in golf.
All right, let's talk about last weekend tour.
No, I was going to say quick topic.
Quick topic? All right, what do you want to talk about?
Do we really need to announce future U.S. Open sites 20 years from now?
When it's at a course in my home state and it's the first U.S. Open I ever went to was at this course, absolutely we do. But no, you don't. That's way too early in advance. I'm sorry. I was trying to do the math on how old I would be, how old my son would be at that point. Like, I love it. I love that you're planning this far ahead. But who knows what's going to change there?
Yeah,
I do think a lot of people have made comments about stuff out there thinking like, oh, is the course even going to exist? Yes, that course is going to exist then. I'm not going to say I'm not worried about Baltusrol having a problem.
Yeah, but, it's one thing like, MLB announced the All-Star game in Philly almost, what was it, 6 years ago, I think.
Okay, yeah, probably 6.
Yeah. Yes, that's something different because that's a 250th, whatever big word that is. That
it's
I'm not going to try. Yeah.
All those all-star games for like every park, it takes a bidding and getting all of this. That takes a few years. So it's not a, hey, next year announcement. I like the 5-year, but 20 years?
Yeah.
20 years.
I don't remember 20 days ago. I don't even want to know what 20 years from now is.
All right, lock in your yardage with Nikon Cool Shot rangefinders, fast, accurate distances, slope technology, and crystal clear optics, so you can pick the right club with total confidence. Nikon Cool Shot, see it, shoot it, stick it. NikonGolf.com today, the official rangefinder of the LPGA Tour and the Golfing Dads. Last week on tour, Jackson Koiven wins.
Wow! Just can I say kudos to Jackson Koiven and kudos to the fans that were at the 3M.
Yeah,
because they were phenomenal to everyone. They put Long Island to shame. I'm going to say it. They were true golf fans out there. So when people talk about shrinking the game and everything like that, these are the people that we don't need to shrink the game for. These are people that are out there. They understand the history. They understand that you're not cheering against people. You're cheering on Hideki. You're cheering on the young gun. You're cheering on Scotty as the number one, as the fan favorite, but you're not cheering against
saying things like Scotty's coming for you. And again, but
that's
okay
respectful.
With that.
Yeah, I'm okay. And even Koiven was okay with that. Like he hears that. Yeah, Scotty's coming. You want to know. I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with, when you're yelling about people's families, when you're yelling about people's significant others, when you're
Yes.
yelling derogatory things at people, that is unacceptable on the golf course.
Yeah, Steve,
Hey,
you just
also-
picked them a couple weeks too early.
I did. You're right about that.
Did.
I do want to give a quick shout out. I don't know if you guys saw it. There was a fan that passed out from heat exhaustion out there, and Ted Scott was quick from the bag with a bottle of water for them.
Yep.
And kudos to Teddy for that. Want to give him a quick shout out. There was also a little incident, and I'm going to call it an incident. It was a little incident with Lucas Glover taking off his shoes.
Misunderstanding. Let's call it a misunderstanding.
Misunderstand.
Because first off, the media, not the media, but social media, our people went out there and just assumed this was an aim point thing and jumped on that. And everybody did. We did. We talked about it with
if you looked in our text group, that's exactly what was said in the text group.
But I love what Lucas Glover came out and said. He said two things. One, it wasn't aim point. It was because of the spikes, and it was someone goofing with him about that he wears metal spikes and having to fix his spike marks. But the second thing, which I think is the more important thing, is he goes,
it down.
This shouldn't have been the story.
Yeah.
Right.
Koven winning should have been the story out there.
Yes.
Like, that's the story, not this goofy little thing that he did.
Yeah.
That was not even the right story.
And when you win a tournament, you get exemptions to go fishing in the pond.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I saw the Bryant brothers fishing at Disney on 17.
Yeah, if you're fishing and golfing, maybe get some golfish apparel. That
is right.
From the marina to the golf course, Golfish is the official apparel provider of the Golfing Dads and is the most comfortable golf attire. Their new shorts, I got to tell you, those shorts are the most comfortable golf shorts I have ever owned. Like,
we
they're
catch that
phenomenal.
segue there, Greg.
I did.
I
was fishing for it. What?
Yep.
What?
All right. So Jackson Clavin wins. He's had 13 starts in the PGA Tour, 3 as a professional. He's got a miscut, a 10th place, and a win. When we go to Chicago with the President's Cup team in the fall, is Jackson Clavin going?
I hope so. And here's why. He needs to go because we need to build up that youth movement on the Ryder Cup and the President's Cup. We need to build this team, and we need those younger players that are going to be the up-and-comers moving forward, and he's that young superstar. So I think if we're picking any young player, he needs to be the one that is picked. Even if he's the 12th pick, he needs to be on this team.
I'm gonna kind of take the opposite take on that.
You go to hell, Dave. You go to hell. America needs to win, and Coivin's going to win it for us with Goddard up.
I want to preface. I would love to see Coivin on the team, but if he comes out the next couple tournaments and misses the cut, he's not the hot hand that you want to take into the President's Cup. Now, I get it. The President's Cup, we usually do pretty well and wax poetically, in that tournament. If he's got the hot hand and he's playing top 20 golf the next couple tournaments, great. Let's take him. But, if he kind of slides on down the ladder here a little bit, I think there's other picks out there.
So, Dave, let me ask you, what do you consider sliding? Because he just won. So he's done more than most people.
Okay. I got a better question, Greg. I got a better question.
Well,
I'm going to read you 6
first. Hold on. What do you consider a slide? Like
missing the cut,
or he starts missing the cut a lot?
Missing cuts.
Okay.
So I want to ask this question because these are the guys outside the number right now. Colin Morikawa is number 6, so he is in. Chris Goddard is outside. Goddard is out. JJ Spawn is out. The reigning U.S. Open champ is currently on the outside of the bubble at 9th. Wyndham Clark. Justin Thomas, Xander Schauffele, and a guy who got a new red cardigan this year, Akshay Bhatia, is on the outside right now at number 12.
So I gotta say,
I'm taking Goddard up and JT.
I'm taking Goddard up.
Yep.
Goddard's had a phenomenal season, and this season he's a hot hand. I honestly think by the end of this, he will actually be in the top 6 and will not need to be a president's or a captain's choice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm liking Wyndham,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel Wyndham's fading, but I still like Wyndham.
Played great at the Open.
Ashke is my wild card. I think Ashke had a bright beginning of the season. I don't think it's been bright towards the end of the season. I don't think he's made some cuts. He's been playing okay, but I don't see him playing his best golf right now.
Where's President's Cup at this year?
In Chicago. Medina.
Where do you put Justin and Xander?
I'll always
Xander
take JT over Xander.
So
JT's going. To me, I think JT's a lock.
I think JT's a lock, but I also think Xander has been playing better than he was last year. And I think this year I would be happy with him, where for the Ryder Cup last year, I was not happy with him, even though he was
I think he's healthy. I think he's healthier this year than last year.
I do too.
Yes. Hey, if your child is interested in the game of golf, get them started right with Upswing Golf and their full lineup of kids clubs. Designed for proper fit, real performance, and serious fun. Upswing Golf, grow like a pro. Upswinggolf.com.
I want to put a punch in for Upswing Golf right here because Steve, we've talked. I'm coming down to Florida this week.
Yep.
And we're going to play some golf. I found a perfect cheat code for these Upswing clubs. I don't want to bring my son's entire bag because he's got like 5 clubs. All you have to do with Upswing clubs, take the heads off, put the kid's shaft into your the side pocket of your golf bag with those head covers. Their whole bag fits in your bag and it travels easily. It is a cheat code for traveling with your kids' clubs for them to play golf with you on vacation.
So mine might fit a little bit differently because Will has the larger
but
set.
Yours can fit into your bag like you would put your driver's shaft. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
All right, time for our picks. Dave, odds. Go.
Lead the way. Cam Young at 9.5, Xander at 15.5, Goddard 17.5, Wyndham 18.5, Siwoo 19, Cantley 22.5, Jackson Coyven 23, Henley at 26. If you guys are going farther than that, best of luck to you. I picked first because I lost. I'm taking Goddard and
oh no! Don't take Goddard up. Not because I want to pick him, but that means he's going to miss the cut.
Yes. That's true.
Do that to our boy Goddard up.
Yeah, Dave, you are on a miscut streak right now.
I have missed the cut in the last 3 events.
You have.
We like Chris. He's been on our show. He's a great guy from New Jersey. And why would you curse him like that?
Because I already typed it into the system earlier. So that's what we get.
Greg, who you taking?
You know what? I am going to take Dave's favorite player.
Xander Schauffele.
I'm taking Ricky.
Ricky
this week.
Wow.
Ricky is.
I'd like to thank you for that one.
Is 45.
Far enough ahead that I think Ricky's going to have a good week this week. I think.
I need to try and win this week.
Greg,
so,
you were at 56. Steve is at 38. I'm at 28.5.
Dave, you can go ahead and hammer the favorite for me.
Cam Young.
I like Cam Young this week too, but I'm going to take Ricky. I think Ricky's going to play well. Ricky's won here before, so give me Ricky.
Yeah.
This is usually my Tony Finau pick of the year. I'm not doing it right now.
Chris.
Hey, Beautiful Golf Courses. We are playing Beautiful Golf Courses. Wants to know where we're playing this weekend. We are going to play the Legends at Orange Lake this weekend. Great track, Arnold Palmer design here in Central Florida. So, everybody have a great week. Enjoy the Rocket Classic. It's the last time that's in Detroit, and we will see you next week.
See you.
All right, guys. What a round today. Cheers.